former Alabama basketball player, Miami. He's been with the Miami Heat. Keith, how long have you been with the Miami Heat? I was just saying 25 years. I think I'll probably cut you short there. Good morning. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. You cut me short 5, man.
30 years?
30 years, bro. 1990, I joined the club.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That is amazing.
I've been on a serious roll, man.
Yeah, you have. Well, tell us what's going on with the NBA right now. Are these guys just having meetings with their players over Zoom? Or is there any contact between the coaches and players? What's happening right now, Keith?
Yeah, I'm based out in El Paso, Texas, so I really can't say what our staff is doing to players. I'm pretty sure they're in contact with them every day. It's not the coach. I know the trainer's probably checking in on them, make sure they're healthy and whatnot. Other than that, it's just, this time of year is when we really, as our scouting staff, we're normally getting ready to start going, coast to coast and sometimes across the water to Europe to watch players and evaluate players. But, due to this virus situation, we're stuck at home watching video.
What is when do the players have to put their name in the draft, and what will you guys do? I guess you don't know right now as far as visiting with the players. You can't do any of that stuff right now. When does that all take place, Keith?
I don't know if they're going to be extending any deadlines or whatnot, because it's kind of like a trickle down effect. College coaches need to know when these kids are going to be able to declare and be able to pull themselves out. I don't have the date right in front of me, right off the top of my head, but I think the draft's supposed to have been 22nd, 23rd, 26th, somewhere in June. So I don't, right now it's just up in there. All I'm doing is just watching as many players as I can to make sure that, I'm ready in the event that I have to go to battle to try and draft one of these kids.
Yep, that.
Good morning, Keith.
Morning, Coach.
How many scouts do you have for Miami?
I think we have about 13 on staff. We have quite a few that we call regional.
Okay.
And we have myself and 3 other guys that do quite a bit of travel. We go abroad as well as do G League as well as NBA and college.
Is it a situation where you all meet together at one time? I know I guess you draft basically on to your needs, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that go ahead.
Yes, we're normally we normally get together. Right after we'll have a group. We normally would have a group that would go to. We would probably take six or 7 scouts up to Portsmouth. That's been canceled. We usually have our entire department would go to Chicago for the combine, and that is no longer happening. So, and then after that, it would be NBA. It would be agent workouts and pro days, and that's not going to happen. So we're missing quite a bit of travel, but the majority of these players we've already seen during the college season, and I like to say those last viewings are like confirmation views for me, where I'm going out to make sure I didn't miss anything on a player. And most of the time when I go watch a kid now, it's my mind, I have notes on him, and I'm hoping that he does something that's not in my notes. But for the most part, it's about whittling down to finding a group of 15 guys that you hope that would be in your in your range when draft day comes?
This is a little bit off the subject, maybe, but coaching in the D League, the way the Vanderbilt coach has done, is there? And they've only won one game in this year, and only won one year before he wasn't there. Then, is it a little bit awkward for you, unknown for you, to coach in the D League, having never coached in college, and then come to the? I've always felt like that when you did that you didn't really realize the importance of recruiting. Maybe I'm wrong. Is there a difference there in handling? Talk a little bit about the difference in coaching in the D League and then going to Vanderbilt University or somewhere like that and trying to coach college kids.
Well, first, a head coach, first he's only as good as his assistants that he have with him, and the players that he's coaching. Jerry, you're speaking of Jerry Stackhouse. I actually coached him. He was with us for a little bit in Miami. I played against him and coached against him as well as coached him. He's very bright. He's well prepared. He's very bright, and he has a demeanor that kids will respect. Not to mention he's been an all-star, and he's had a long career in the NBA, and that'll help him recruit kids. Sometimes the situation in which you get into, in your first year, he wasn't able to build a team. All of his players, some of those players were left over from the previous regime. But every time I watched Jerry's team play, I will say that they played together, they played hard, and they were prepared. And he exudes confidence in them. I know the fan base doesn't like to hear that the way they came down to Tuscaloosa, and even in a long season when they've lost almost every game, they still came out and played hard and got a win in Tuscaloosa. So, I take my hat off to Jerry for keeping those kids engaged and keeping them believing in each other. He got some young talent that's going to be good next year. They'll be fun to watch next year.
Okay.
We're talking with Keith Askins. Obviously, Keith was back here. I guess it was a couple months ago with the with your team here that won the SEC championship. It was great seeing all you guys, and it was nice seeing how close you guys still are. This may not be a fair question, but I know you're not scared to answer it. You and I, we've seen and you played in Alabama basketball at the peak in the 80s and the 90s. It was something special. It just hasn't done that consistently. And you can come up with 100 reasons why, facilities, commitment, I don't know, recruiting, players, coaching changes. What do you think, Keith, needs to happen for Alabama basketball to get back to where they're consistently in the NCAA tournament, getting back to the Sweet 16, knocking on the door of the Elite Eight? What has to happen here?
Well, I think you got to give Coach Oates and his staff, time to install and instill his philosophy and bring in players. I mean, this is going to be the first year that he's going to actually be able to say, he's going to come in with unfortunately with the virus, it's going to change the way recruiting happens again. But it's going to be important to get talent, and sometimes it's not getting the blue chippers. I mean, you can go out and try and get one and dones, and you're still going to end up, on the losing side. So it's about getting players that'll commit to each other and be willing to help each other be better. I mean, I just had this talk with one of my 7-year-old boys, and I told him, I said, the only way you should be excited to have a brother your same age and practically the same build as you, with just as much athleticism or more, that can help you become better. It's about having guys on a team that want to help each other succeed. This notion that everybody that plays college basketball is going to be a professional athlete. There's a lot of avenues to be a professional basketball player, but the most important thing is that you get kids that are willing to come in and have an idea that they're coming to play basketball, but most importantly, coming to work on an education and commit to that. I'll never forget my high school coach telling me if you're a good student, you'll pretty much have a chance to play basketball for anyone, because no college coach is going to try and recruit a bad student, because now you can't get in. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So give Coach Oates and his guys, an ample opportunity to put together a team. One thing I did notice, Avery's a friend of mine, and I spoke to him, and some of the guys that he had recruited there, you saw the development coming in. Petty had a very good year shooting the ball, rebounding, as well as defending. It's a shame to see Jones break his hand, his wrist, but I give him credit, and I was really happy, to see him. Even though the doctor said he could play, he came out and played. So there's a lot of good things happening there. Good young group, and with this game, I mean, it's obvious that coaches going to be recruiting guys that can shoot the ball, but you're going to need somebody that can draw pressure at the rim as well. So, vertical spacing has become even more important in this game than ever before. So athleticism will be a key.
Yeah, other than the player part, I guess we get that. You got to recruit. Mm-hmm. If you don't get the players, it don't matter what you got. I mean, a lot of coaches come through. You look at what Anthony Grant did this year at Dayton, and then maybe he wasn't the right fit for this job. I think you got to have a guy that's willing to get out like Bruce Pearl does at Auburn, promote the program. Right. But what did you see when you were here? Maybe some things that could happen that maybe will help Coach Oates recruit those guys that you were talking about.
Alabama continues to be Alabama. You gotta, the program needs positive reinforcement. I think the fan base as well as the alumni base needs to be supportive of him and make sure that they do everything within the legal realms to help him recruit and bring in top tier talent. I mean, he's a hard working coach. I mean, they come out, they're well conditioned, they play hard, they play together, and it's important that the university and all the fans realize that Rome wasn't built in a day. Coach Sanderson, and he came in with CM, and it was talent. I say if you can keep home, your Alabama talent, have a chance to recruit your top tier talent in your state, you'll probably pretty much have a chance to put a pretty good basketball team on the floor. But Auburn is giving you competition now, and now you have you got a good kid. I mean, LSU came right down to Birmingham and pulled Waterford right out of there. So, there's a breeding ground for talent, and with the internet now, everybody is, and AAU, everybody is seen. There's no secrets of it, and you get a player that's a secret. Kind of like the John Morant, my buddy James Kane found him in a side gym. He was going to look at Tevin Brown, I think. So, you just got to be patient with the coach and his staff and trust that they're going to bring in a group that's going to play hard every night and represent Alabama in the way in which Alabama should be represented.
Yep, that.
Well, I don't really have anything else. Appreciate Keith being on. I guess the two factors when you go look at kids, and I may be wrong, would be the shooting ability and their quickness. Those two factors may be the two biggest ones. Am I wrong on that?
Well, when I
not size particularly, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. You got to have a skill. I mean, and shooting is a skill that's now being brought to the forefront. You can shoot the ball. You can play just for about anyone because they'll find a way to space the floor and get you an open shot. Athleticism is a key. You need to. I actually like to see a guy that can actually guard more than one position. If he's a big man, I like to see. I would hope that you would find a big man that could get up at the point of the screen, because now the game is so pick and roll heavy. In order to combat that, you got to have a big man that can get up at the point of the screen. If you're going to play a switching scheme, he has to be able to contain the ball. And containment is really only 2 to 3 dribbles. I mean, you got 3 slides and you're going to run into the next defender. So it's about being able to contain the ball for 3 dribbles at the most.
Okay.
And those things right there, that'll put you right in line with finding a kid that can help you win.
Last question, Keith. We're talking with Keith Askins, who's with the Miami Heat. Are these NBA guys going to continue to get their paychecks with no games going on? How does that work?
I have no idea on that. I have no idea on the pay scales or whatever's going on. I don't think I do, man. I stay in my lane. I try and take it, and I do my best to continue to do my job. So I'm trying to get year 31.
That's a lot of money going out with nothing coming in, Keith.
Hey,
wow.
Well, you know what? It's that's just not in the NBA. That's everywhere right now.
No, you're right. You're right. But these guys are making some astronomical salaries, and so.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the game. I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
That's part of it, and it's not like they're wanting to be home.
No, I know.
Everybody's out of the realm right now. Everybody's like me, sitting in my little home office, watching basketball and wishing that I could find something live to go to. But this will be over soon, and I really, I believe something good will come out of it. I mean, just think about nature within itself. I mean, it's amazing looking at the skies, how blue the skies are, and when you read about China, how the pollution is down, and sometimes you just look and say, well, maybe Mother Nature needed this, and it's just something that everybody start paying close attention to that hygiene and and just making sure you're healthy. I mean, that's all you can do.
How's that golf game, Keith?
I'm hanging it up. I've played once, maybe twice in the past couple weeks. It's social distancing now, so there's no pins in the flag, all GPS, no rakes, no sand, so you can feel divots. And I'm a real stickler about taking care of the course, so not having any sand to fill divots is and being able to rake a buck is kind of hard on me. But as long as I can get outside and stay safe and get some fresh air, I'll go out and hit a couple balls. I'm okay. I look forward to getting a chance to play with your dad one day.
Yeah, well,
I hope so.
Well, Keith, great stuff, my man. It was great seeing you a couple months ago. Hope to see you again soon.
Likewise. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys again soon.